Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to just come on today and talk about fear. The subject of fear has been coming up quite regularly in my sessions or my groups or my one-on-ones. So I thought that I would just come on and just talk about fear and how I really do feel that fear creates a barrier and a sort of like a stopgap between our relationship with the spirit world. I think a lot of us are brought up with the religious beliefs that speaking to the dead, conjuring up the dead is a sin and it's not allowed. And we bring all of this into our adulthood, of course, and we might not even be aware of it. But I think this is really what I hear a lot of is, oh, I feel the spirit world coming closer, or I sense them and I get really nervous and I get scared and I pop myself out of my link or my power. And I think a lot of this does come from these beliefs from childhood. So I think what we have to understand is that a lot of these teachings talking about not speaking to the dead, conjuring up the dead, communicating with spirits, this really does come from the churches or the religious institutions wanting to control the relationships with God and the spirit world. That we're supposed to just listen to the priests and the rabbis, and that we're not supposed to go directly to spirit. We have to go through these institutions. Not that that clarification helps because the fear is still there, but I'm a practicing spiritualist. This is how I'm trained, and I do know that when I use the word God, I'm just speaking about the Father. I'm not really giving him a name, Jesus, Allah, Abraham, etc. It's the Father, and the Father loves us. God is love. There's nothing God does without love, period. And that also extends to the spirit world. The spirit world is love. The spirit world wants to work with us and help us through the intention of pure love and healing. Mediumship is about love and healing. Mediumship is not about evoking fear, about being afraid of what spirit's going to do. I think a lot of us, and I can speak to this as well, might have been scared a bit by spirit when they were younger. They just appear, and it's shocking in a way. You might have sensed or seen a beautiful spirit being, though at that point you didn't think it was a beautiful spirit being, standing at the foot of your bed. That's how my guide sort of showed himself to me the first time when I was younger, and it really scared me. And I thought there were monsters in my room, to the point that I was sent to therapy as a child. So, and that took me a long time to get over. I thought something was wrong with me. The more I speak with the spirit world now, and read a lot of spiritual books based in spiritualism usually, I think the spirit world will come closer and just try to make their presence known, to start trying to develop a relationship with us. They're not trying to scare us. They're just trying to make us aware of their presence. So if you've had this experience, I've also had the experience, and I'm sure a lot of you have had this as well, sleeping and being awoken by the screaming of your name. When I lived in New York City, this used to really scare me because I thought that someone was breaking into my apartment and yelling my name. But I do believe this is the spirit world just trying to work through your clairaudience to make their presence known, to say that they're coming, to say that they're there. But if you have this a lot and you're being woken up by shouting or even nudges or maybe even more physical based phenomena, bed shaking, things like that, just ask them to pull back. I don't think they do this to scare you. I just think sometimes they need to adjust their vibrations and frequency as well in the spirit world to come through to us. So I think they just sometimes don't know their own strength, or they're so excited that it comes off as something shocking or a bit scary. I really have never in my journey experienced anything that scared me. I've seen amazing things that have intrigued me and really perked my interest, but I think of it as, wow, isn't that amazing what spirit can do? I've heard spirit voices a lot over the past year or two, especially over Zoom and video calls. Oddly, under the recordings, I can start hearing voices, and I think those are cool. And when I hear those, I just reach out either out loud or through my subconscious, and I say, "Very cool, more, please, give me more. I hear you." So if you have had times in the past where you've turned a corner and you've seen what maybe you thought was a ghost or an evil spirit, whatever, and you've just seen a fully manifested spirit person through your subjective or objective clairvoyance, and you've been shocked and scared, then I think they pull back a bit because I don't think they want to scare us. But the next time that happens, just reach out to them and say, thank you, that was beautiful. I saw you. Maybe if you could not hang out in corners, so when I turn that corner, it shocks me. Just bring yourself through gently and lightly, and you'll see they'll do it. They listen to us. They want to work with us. They also need to develop a relationship with us as we need to develop a relationship with them. So they will definitely shift their energy and their frequency to work with us in the way that's best for us, that's the most comfortable for us. What else I've heard about fear is that sometimes a lot of people will have really good relationships with past loved ones in spirit or their guides, and they're moving into different modalities of mediumship, such as healing or trance, and they're afraid that when they move into this other sort of area of mediumship, that their relationship with their loved ones or their spirit guides will sort of wane if they shift their awareness or their interest elsewhere. I don't believe that's the case. I think any work you do with spirit, any work you do with your own spiritual progression, will just increase the amount of energy that spirit will use to communicate with us. So I don't think anyone should ever be scared or be concerned about, oh, but my loved ones, I'm not speaking with them as much because I'm doing something else within mediumship. They're going to get mad, or they're going to pull back. I don't think spirit really pulls back. I think we pull back. How do we pull back? With our fear and our monkey minds, through our conscious minds, worrying about these things. Don't worry about it. If spirit's around you, spirit will stay around you. Spirit doesn't turn their back on you. I think a lot of times we can turn our back on spirit, but spirit's patient. They have all the time in the world. We don't. We're limited in our physical existence, but they have no time frame. They'll just wait. They'll wait for you to wake up and go back to them. It's okay to take breaks. But if you pull back because something's a bit scary or uncomfortable for you, you really have to go within and say, what am I afraid of? Where's this fear coming from? I don't think that there is any sort of malice or bad intention in the spirit world. They don't come to scare us. They don't come to warn us in terms of don't conjure up the dead. What you're doing is a sin. I don't believe that. They started this. They started wanting to communicate with us. We're just listening to them. Why would they start something within the physical world, speaking with us and wanting to communicate through us to bring their evidence of so-called death, healing, philosophy, counsel into the physical world, using us as a conduit, if it was something that God wouldn't allow? There's a balance here. There's a balance between the physical world and the spiritual world. The spirit world have no power in this physical world without us. They need us. And we need their communication, their wisdom, their intelligence to bring it into the physical world. It's a partnership. We work together. We work in tandem. So please, if there's a fearful sort of aspect to your mediumship, you need to think about that, because I do know that that's a big block. And the people that I've worked with say, oh, I'm a little afraid. I've seen them. They can progress a bit, but it stops. It doesn't flow. Just feel the love, feel the joy of the spirit world when they come close, because it's a joyful event. It's a joyful experience when the spirit world gets to communicate through you. Feel their joy, feel their happiness. Every reading I do, every trance demonstration I do, healing sessions that I do, I can feel their love. I can feel their joy. I can feel their gratitude. I lean into this essence of joy. They're so happy. They're so happy that so many of us have chosen this path, have chosen to be of service. So just try to understand that the fear is coming from you. The fear is coming from these beliefs that have been sort of ingrained in you. And just try to overcome them, or at least try to rationalize them. Is there anything that has happened with the spirit world that has scared me? Okay, maybe you heard your name being yelled quite loudly in the middle of the night. Maybe you turn the corner and a spirit being freaked you out. Maybe something moved. All these things, but I don't think they're doing this to scare you. I think the times of a sheet, coming out with two eyes cut out, saying "boo," that's not spirit. That's Gasper. Those are horror movies. Okay, so mediumship is not about fear. Mediumship, in my opinion, takes away fear. Mediumship, to me, one of the biggest benefits to mediumship in my own life, it's removed any fear of death that I might have had. Not afraid of dying. I know there is no death. You cannot kill energy. Energy just changes form.